Paula Coomber, Seaside Radio, here in Bridlington with
Simon Roberts.
And Simon, what are you doing here today?
Well, I'm working with Martha at the moment, Martha Lane Fox and the Race Online team, to get, this week to get as many people online as possible. But most of the time I'm working with Martha on a strategy to get the UK's older population online.
And how are you going about this?
Well, I'm writing a nice document, first of all, to understand where we've got to and what the issues are, try and bring together masses of the research that exists in the UK. And I'm also talking to all the initiatives and schemes and businesses in the UK that are doing something in particular and working out how we can bring those together. So I'm particularly interested in how people buy computers and how they get to computers and how easy that experience is. I also really believe that it's often a good thing for people to have longer term access to computing, so how we can enable that. Interested in the challenges of getting computing into people in residential care and sheltered housing, often those most disadvantaged actually, and where they're often isolated from their community. So I'm looking at it from a range of different perspectives and trying not to reinvent the wheel. There's a lot going on already that's really positive, so it's about sort of bringing all of that together.
Of course. A lot of it sounds like it might be expensive. Have you got any sort of funding for this?
No, all my recommendations cost nothing. No, I mean, I am, seriously though, I am under a sort of trying very hard not to create ideas that it costs a lot of money. As I said, I think there's lots that's already going on, and I think one of the challenges is how to make this stuff, help people see that there's a commercial benefit from this. So for retailers, there's a big untapped market. They just need to have staff who are more sensitive to older customers and their potential needs. I think we've demonstrated the business case for computing in sheltered housing, residential care homes. So now it's about registered social landlords and residential care home providers waking up and understanding that having their residents connected is a really good thing for everyone.
Of course, and places like this in Bridlington Resource Centre where they're doing free courses for people. There's been so many people through here today. Particularly older people said, their grandchildren want them to get online, and they've had to come and do it. So this sort of initiative is amazing for that.
Well, I think that's right, and I'm a great believer in a couple of things. I think one is that actually if we're trying to get older people online, often one of the things we might need to do is persuade their children or grandchildren to do the legwork, because if, my mother says to me, or if I say to my mother, look, it would make my life a lot easier since I care for you. If you were online, I could contact you more easily. I suspect that she would respond to that request from me in a way that she might not have an advertiser said, you've got to get online now, Mrs. Roberts, it's time for you to get online. So I think we need to use some intermediaries that are close to older people to sort of spread that message. And I found, doing my research with older people and technology, that actually they really are adopting things like Facebook incredibly quickly, and the numbers, the growth in Facebook among over 65s in the UK is outstanding. So,
that is true, and I'm on it myself.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've said, based on figures that you can get from the Facebook website, I reckon there are about 2.6 million people in the UK over 65 on Facebook, which represents about a 500% increase year on year. So it's happening.
So where do you go from here?
Well, I'm hoping to get a report out at the end of November, and a report is only ever worth, as much as the actions that come from it. So I think, really what we'll be looking to do is to push a number of agendas. One is to push the computing into residential care homes and sheltered housing. I think that's a big issue. The second is to think about design issues and what technology looks like, both from the device through to the web. We'll be looking to sort of try and bring together all the existing initiatives, try and find a sort of an owner for them within government so that this can move ahead. And beyond that, I think there's lots of, it's business as usual, but just to sharpen to sharpen our attack and keep on going.
So exciting times ahead,
I
really.
think so, I hope so.
It's called Race for 2012.
Race Online 2012, yeah, 2012.
So you're hoping sort of in 2 years that you'll have this more...
Yeah, I mean, I think current status in the UK, 9 million people offline. About 6 million of those are over 65. So I think there's, our work is cut out. But, this thing is growing. I think the Facebook figures just show that, once that network starts building, the more fun it is for everyone. So we'll get there.
Oh, well, the very best of luck with
Thank
that.
you.
And thank you very much.
Pleasure.